Well, so now, so jet ahead, you've moved back, and
Mhm.
then you started a different business, all related to your amazing talent. Take us through that journey.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I mentioned before, I keep getting these little enticing offers to come back to New York, and I might do it at for a short period if that was an opportunity that worked for me and worked for my son. I just had an invitation and I haven't heard back yet. So, but anyway, if it happens, I'll let you know. But I started teaching privately. I taught a little bit in New York, and I'd even taught when I lived in Switzerland. I taught some of the ballerinas in our cast because I did do Phantom in Switzerland as well. So I mostly teach full time. I've taught at a couple of universities. In fact, Converse, I taught there. I taught an opera workshop at Anderson University. I taught private voice as well as musical theater history and their review. I directed their Broadway review. So I started doing that, but I also started with my sister a theater company, South Carolina Repertory Theater. And we've produced the show Into the Woods, which a lot of people know. It's a Sondheim show, and it's sort of fractured fairy tales, I guess you might say. We
Oh,
produced that
fun.
show, and then we had to take a little break because of the special needs issues. And then we had these great master classes. So the other thing, like we mentioned, Hugh Panero, I have so many friends that come down to perform close to us at the Peace Center. I'm able to get
Yeah.
them to do master classes or talkbacks. And I invite not just my students, but other students to come to those. So we've done that as our theater company. So right before we shut down, my friend Jimmy Smagula did a master class for us. He was in Les Mis. And we said, it's a
Oh,
master class for the master of the house, because he played Thénardier, who's the master of the house. And he just opened on Broadway last week in Spamalot, and he was on the Macy's parade. So it was fun to see him there.
oh,
So
nice.
a lot of my students and some other of my colleague students did a class with him. So now they got to see him there. So it's so fun to be able to give that kind of experience to local students, because I didn't have that, even though I had wonderful teachers who I mentioned. I didn't have that sort of like direct from Broadway experience, that like this person has been on Broadway. I found out later that my teacher, Jane Rolandi, had auditioned for Rodgers and Hammerstein themselves. So I found out later. We did have that connection, but we didn't
Good.
know that back then.
Yeah.
But so I mostly am teaching now, and I mentioned the carolers. So we've done this for 3 years. I have the South Carolina Repertory Dickens carolers, so we're all in our Dickens attire, Victorian attire of that period, and walked through the streets downtown Travelers Rest, and we'll do it at some assisted livings and some senior places and sing carols. So that's also part of our theatrical endeavor. We try to have outreach to those with special needs, senior adults, children in general. We have a camp. I have a camp every year. We just did my 9th annual theater camp, musical theater camp. So I've been I stay pretty busy, like you said.
I love
trying.
that.